Hi, guys.
Hi.
So even though John White is not here tonight, I have to mention him because he specifically told me not to dress up for this tonight because I might look too much like a poet. But in spite of that, I did decide to go with the striped hoodie. So, it's a little dressy for me. So this first poem is one of my first poems that I wrote quite a while ago before I moved to Ventura, and it's a fall poem. It's called Autumn Mean. Golden earth and auburn sky, rusty husks in fields of fire. Crow remains a few more days, gleans some grain, then flies away. As leaves and trees are parting ways through colder nights and shorter days, now green and blue have left the view for orange and red to feature. They understand their maker's plan as autumn war paints nature. Thank you. So this next poem is what I call a road poem because it was written on the move. I took a train trip up to Seattle to visit my uncle, and then I hitched a ride with some friends down through Idaho to whitewater raft on the Salmon River, and this is where this poem was kind of born. So I have a quote with it as well from Vincent van Gogh. There was a book that I read of letters that Vincent and his brother Theo were communicating back and forth, and Theo, always being the responsible brother, was asking Vincent when he was going to settle down and get a home. And Vincent wrote back to him, and he simply said, "I mean, painting is a home." And so I kind of adopted that for myself as poetry is my home. So this is called Sowing Wayside Blues. Through cityscape and countryside, whoever goes the lonely road, poetry goes there with thee. A pocket full of prose and jingle change. The mingle makes Jack healthy, wealthy, and wise. So till, plant words, sleep, then return. Sun to moon, sea to sky, seed to tree, to that road within thee. So this is another sort of fallish poem. It's called Brackish, and I wrote this around Halloween time last year. Church bells ring, echoes off back alley bricktop. Beer bottle breaks under blood-red moon. A shadow creeps across the night, its spindly fingers splayed at its side. Reach down, pick up the knife. Flat draft, death foam, fear, fight, flight. This is a way with words. Patterns of space and time play games inside my mind. A synthesis of chrysalis, wombed in deep divine. All alone again, I am mine. No one left to draw the line. A coincidence that must make sense when your 6 steps in on 9. You sent love to tie and bind. I slipped through that silky vine and fell fast asleep in sweet relief, in song, in women, in wine. Now I write out beneath the pine, in moonlit, crazy diamond shine. That's all I have, but it's not so bad when my words fall into rhyme. So I'm almost intimidated to read this next poem after what Phil said. Marcia mentioned Emily, because this is actually a poem about Emily. So I read some Kerouac a few years ago and really kind of tapped into the whole beat generation thing, and I wanted to try to write a beat poem. So interestingly enough, I got inspired one day when I was reading some of Emily Dickinson's poetry. And so this poem is for her, and it's, well, I think she was like the beat of her generation, so. This is called Diggin' Dickinson in a Bookstore Basement. Shuffling through a deck of books until I drew a spade. So I picked it up and took a look, dug Emily Dickinson all day. Damn, that mad little cat was beat to the bone. She didn't play. Spiked her words with bitter herbs, then fed them to her prey. Dear Emily, did you consummate that funeral in your brain? Did you kiss the hills from heaven's sills and cure your window pane? Oh, death. Oh, doom, you're in the room. Oh, she wanted it that way. Open windows and unlocked tombs, playing her black cat games. And now a whole new beat comes crashing through my brain. Like Emily, it's bittersweet, with bitter thoughts to better be refrained. Because you see, to me, life's just rhythm and life's just rhyme, and life's just life when you know time. In death we'll search the deep divine, and I shall search sweet Emily when I cross that line. Thank you. When you lay down late at night, you have to let it go. Can you carry the day? Is a pound of flesh worth 1,000 worlds? Tomorrow's sorrow better toiled today? Wake up and let out the dogs, the ones barking inside of your head, before they devour the day. Go preach peace to a theater of war and heap hot coals upon the prey. Let love rules be your battle cry today. That was called Flesh Wounds, and this is called Streams. What happens to one who sleeps out beneath the stars, the moon, and Mars? Do his dreams become streams of consciousness that flow from the faith in things hoped for and still not seen? Awake, is it real or still dream? You sit silent by a lucid stream where beams of bright light strike down through the trees. Butterflies flutter then freeze to the sound of the rounds as they cut through the breeze, scattering gold dust dreams in the leaves. Negate time. It's a field, not a leash. In opulent flow, you're aglow as you go to that zone in your mind. Like a wheel within wheel, a quantum field through pineal opens up to reveal what's sublime. Because when you deal with the feel, how it feels to be real, nothing left to conceal, you'll know time. So don't debate, shoot shit straight. You can't fake fate. Once it's sealed, you're divine. So this is a poem that I wrote after a trip I took to Costa Rica, and an amazing creature that I got to encounter while I was there, and thankfully for me, it was from the other side of some plexiglass. So yeah, anyways, I was listening to this audiobook before I went on this trip, and it was telling the story of, you guys probably, I'm sure you all know, Carlos Castaneda and Don Juan. And so they were traveling through the desert, and there's this Jaguar that was tracking them. And each evening before it got dark, they would see him on the hilltop miles away. And Don Juan looked at Carlos and told him, you know, when he catches up to us, he's going to eat you and not me. And so Carlos was freaked out, and he's like, why? Why me? And he said, because when he gets here, I know that I can leave, and you don't believe that you can. So, pretty interesting. But anyways, this poem's called The Jaguar. Golden-eyed kinesis strikes and surges through the spine, peering out from the pitch like blazing notches on Orion's belt, lashing at the sky. Back in the ancient days, he laid in wait atop of hot, dead prisms for the sun to appear, poised to devour the day, curling her into thick black robe and sucking the light from her veins. Lurking silently in mazes scribed on the minds of men, extorting golden beads from their hallowed brow, making fodder from the wealth of the enslaved. He crowned kings to fatten the land and set the table for a feast of royal blood. The intensity of stare from my star blue eye floats not even a ripple through his universal mind. Now he sits placidly behind walled-in window pane, working out veiled calculations of the strange creatures pawing at the glass of their cage. Thank you. So I've always really liked art, and really like the works of Van Gogh and Monet. And so after I took a couple of stabs at painting myself, I decided I was better off to stick with words. And so I wanted to try to write a poem that was sort of like a painting. And so this poem is from a time I spent with a girlfriend over in Germany, and so it has a few German words thrown in. And for those of you who don't know how to speak German, which I speak very little, I'll just tell you what the last line is. It simply says, "Remember my love, I love you." And this is called Still Life with Louisa. Dawn, light washes the day in Monet. Milky sick pangs of pastel weep and wail across the sky. Even an evening in Eden left tears to well in her eye. Her moods ring out like a rainbow, but in my mind I paint them matte black. A smile shades the window pane as we're both about to crack. So I lay it on thick like Van Gogh and hope she'll lend me an ear. Picture this for 1,000 words. Through the pitch, starry night did appear. And remember how we found beauty in the Teufelsmoor? We strolled upon that dusky bahn, then found shelter in the storm. And that final night at the hoppin' off, when the palette wouldn't speak, some colors bleed to blend the words, mein Liebe, ich liebe dich. Erinnern, mein Lou, ich liebe dich. Still good on time, Phil? All right. So this poem is a tribute to some of my fallen heroes from the Seattle music scene, the grunge scene, as most people know it. Very influential back in the 90s, early 2000s. And I was traveling back and forth to Seattle a lot at that time, so I really got into that music. And so I want to dedicate this to 4 of the people that were lost along the way. Andrew Wood, Lane Staley, Chris Cornell, and Kurt Cobain. This is called Self-Sacrifice. Have you ever laid down late at night, heaven beside you, and held on tight to the hell within? Death grip, slip, stoned cold, dove in to sin again? Have you ever wandered under, black hole, skinned sun? Run, I think that I'm done, or maybe just happy. Awake, can't fake, fate, fake sober, straight. No, wait, no fucking way, don't piss on my gate. Save it, just keep it off my wave. Space needle, marked, 4 arms, sharked. Indians auctioned, 2 armed sharks. Left out cold and dark, outshined, star dogs bark. Raven-clawed, screaming trees spark. Poppy poison Puget Sound, in Neptune emerald moon, starlight drowned. With fortune feigned, fame finely framed, foregone down. Like fireflies in final flicker, foregone now. Okay, this is called Cicada Summer. Dead elms, lumber dripping life into sweet morels who hide amongst the poisonous spores, concealing them from consumption. Death breeds life, shadowed by death, concealing it from consumption. The locust awoke in the summer of swelter, thirsting for life and searching for shelter. Crusted shells and crackling leaves, teeth of the wind on summer's breeze, taken to flight from dead elm trees. Got 2 more. The good thing about my poems are they all fit on 1 page, so no epics. Right, Phil? Okay, this is called Odyssey. To lay hands on and give prayer to the fallen in God's way is the way of the sacred people. Carved by ads of animal effigy and molded by scorching stone, the timbered vessel takes shape. Clad in woven cedar bark, Inuit paddlers embark on journey and sail to the Emerald City as ceremonial sisters snipe dance for 6 days on the shore. Elaborate greetings await with eagle down for festivities and sacred rituals of peace. as the Odyssey concludes ashore. And this is called Breath to Death. And it mentions the same girl that was in the German poet. Lou, do you still tune in to our station? I'm all alone on that wave, so send a hot signal if you still believe in vibration. Sometimes when I cruise the night and search deep into the stars, I travel back in time through the cosmic mind to that night their path lit ours. And remember nights that we read Goethe, then spoke in tongues that broke inertia, inside out and outside in, to be in the world and know the world within. So ponder this, my poet friends. From breath to death, we never end. Thank you.